the LPL. This is 7 days a week. We're hardcore here. So we're jumping straight to game 2 because we're behind schedule and we've got a lot of League of Legends coming your way today. So let's have a look at the ban pick for game number 2. Looks like BLG Zeka has himself the Zoe. This time they've got the Jinx, completely changing strategy from BLG. And to be honest, I'm totally on board with that because I was not a big fan of the strategy from game number 1. It does feel like this is much more equal in terms of team fighting potential from the two teams.
Yeah, I think when you look towards, at least on BLG side, right? Going towards that late game scaling, you got the Jinx, a lot of range in there as well, especially for a composition that has like the Sett, the Rumble, the Camille. But I think the bigger thing looking towards Suning side is this is a game where they're like, we're playing around spin. Like, Angel can pretty easily push in the mid lane and kind of ignore a lot of the damage that Zeka churns out. And you can then play up towards that top side with SofM being able to set up in for success, especially with someone like Gnar. If you're able to connect as Camille with that hook shot, wall shot, you can definitely take this guy down very, very quickly in mini Gnar form. So I'm curious to see now how Suning are going to try and play up towards this top side. Whereas for BLG, it feels like you've kind of got a lot more places you can play through. A pretty decent bot side you can play around, set up aiming for the late game, potential there to try and work with BiuBiu as well, or at least allow him to hard shove his wave if you want to get full control there. There's at least options here for BLG as to how they want to approach this early game.
We'll see what BLG are going to do in terms of the early game. I'm excited for Zeka Zoe because Zeka, this has been one of his highlights, right? This and the Silas, I think, are his two best picks. Certainly, I wouldn't go as far as like best Zoe in the league or anything like that. That we've got a lot of good Zoes here in the LPL, but certainly one of his better picks. And also, again, it feels like this composition has some decent level of agency in the mid game. The Zoe is going to offer a lot of that when you're playing around things like the Dragon, but Angel on the Sett with a carry in the jungle, Bin on the Camille, importantly, does feel like Suning are playing towards the top side this time, which... Dagda, you were saying it in game number 1. We want to see Suning play towards Bin. We want to see Bin enabled to be the carry for the team.
Well, I think for both of us, we just want to see Suning active in the early game. Like, too many of their games that I'm looking at, we don't actually see them do particularly much. And I think there's been like maybe 3 games out of all the games that they played thus far in the LPL that they've actually managed to pick up a gold lead at the 15-minute mark, and even 2 of them were pretty negligible. It was like 100 to 200 gold. It was nothing to write home about. So for Suning, I just want to see them get active. I want them to actually start to set themselves up for success, because you can see like the talent on this squad is insane. Like Huanfeng, one of the best AD carries that we have, Angel making a name for himself as a super strong mid laner, and we got Bin, who, I mean, he's been absolutely insane in the top lane for so long, but it's just about getting to a point in the early stages where they can set themselves up for success and not have to always fight back from a deficit.
So we'll see if they are going to be able to do that. I mean, the laning has been an issue. It has to be said, but it does feel, I don't know, maybe this is just pure hoping. It feels like it's getting better, Dagda. Like, Honors look pretty good on the Thresh, for example, but they do end up just getting caught out. Like, they looked pretty good until they lost the lanes in game 1.
Look,
so
is it that they're getting better or they're playing worse teams? Because, like, they played against IG, we saw this as a big problem for them. Then they played against WE, who was still a big problem. Then they played against Ultra Prime, who have their own issues that are going on. And then we look at this game as well, where BLG, we said, at least at the start, that like their mid game kind of sucks. Their early game they can try and snowball through, but we saw it in the last game where it was not the early game that was the problem. It was the mid game where BLG struggled and Suning were able to bring it back. But if this was a team that had a better understanding how to play out that style, I don't think we'd be seeing Suning with a 1-0 lead here.
Yeah, it does feel like game 1 was a bit compositional, right? It was a bit about just Suning scaled up and had a Jinx and a Lulu, and what are you really going to do about that? Ooh, BiuBiu jumping in onto Bin, but basically did 0 damage because of Camille's passive. So little unfortunate there. And Dagda, I have to say, I think we're in for a bit of a quiet early game, aren't we, really? We've got a Senna and a Jinx in the game. Both of these teams are, like, our biggest criticism of both of them is, can you please do something before the 50-minute mark? So it's feeling inevitably like this is just going to be a pretty long one for us.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, one of the things that we had, like, at least prepped for opening up on the day was, like, talking about how slow these junglers are. Like, I mean, if you look at SofM, he's averaging a minus 600 gold lead at 15. Neither of these junglers have any first blood participation. I mean, the first bloods that we've actually seen picked up on BLG have been Zeka essentially solo killing people. So unless we see that again, which is probably not likely when you're seeing a Sett, yeah, I think we're going to be taking a bit of a slow one. SofM though, now moving in though to see if he can get some vision control, at least spot out where WeiWei is going to be.
He didn't see it. He never saw the ward, I guess.
Actually.
I think, I'm pretty sure he walked through that brush as well, but he must have just been looking elsewhere on the minimap while he walked through the brush. It does happen, but that is going to be a lot of information taken by BLG. They know that he just dipped in division and then dipped back the other way again, so they know there's a ward there, and immediately you can see WeiWei on your minimap just goes and clears it.
Yeah, and because you know you've got Rumble topside, we actually get ppgod has moved in to get some vision control on bot lane, and that's going to be cleared out as well. So, look, 1-for-1 trade on the wards. You know, kill is a kill. You got to keep it on board. All right, let's go. There you go, Huanfeng. That's the extra gold you wanted.
And just through lane dominance, BLG with a 400 gold lead, but Suning want to answer that one. Zeka's in trouble here, and sure, the portal, it looks pretty, but the Lancer from ppgod, he actually gets out with that one. I can't believe he got away with that. WeiWei looking to smite the Drake. In they go. It's a 50 HP smite from WeiWei right there.
No!
The Blasco nearly kills Aiming, but he gets away with it. ppgod now getting chased through the jungle. The bubble will stop the chase. And all of that for nothing to happen. That was tense, Dagda.
That was people run. That was a scary one. That one. I thought someone was going to go down. But either way, look, the BLG managed to escape. They get the dragon. Flashes burnt galore. But, yeah, I mean, a big pickup there for BLG. Certainly when you've got something like this, and in the bot side, you want to be trying to pick up these early dragons. The fact Zeka managed to escape away from this is insane. I think a little bit of miscommunication there between Angel and Bin. You can see the showstopper kind of left Bin waiting to see what the hell was going to happen, where Zeka was going to end up, and it meant that Zeka being able to pick up another flash just about escapes away on the Great Lantern from ppgod.
So it was a tight one. I think that's what we would refer to in the industry is squeaky bum time, Dagda, where it's getting a little bit too close. Both of your butt cheeks fully clenched in that kind of situation. But Zeka gets out with it. He's fine. He's all right. So no harm, no foul. Huanfeng playing that fasting center alongside the Tahm Kench. So obviously, bit of a CS lead in favor of BLG, as you would expect, because being a melee character trying to farm versus a Jinx is always going to be tough, because every time you go in, you just get blasted by a rocket.
Yeah, it's interesting though to see that we're... Oh, hang on, I'm going to hold on to my point. Is Bin is about to get dove.
He is, but there's a TP coming through from Angel, and Sett's pretty good in tower dive situations. PLG are like, you know what? We don't want any of that. We're out of here.
Yeah, not actually trying to go for that at all. Just decide to move away. Instead, they're just going to take it easy, look over towards this Rift Herald. You have the movement coming up here from Aiming and also from ppgod as well, whereas bot side, On and Huanfeng are now only trying to make their way up with the Abyssal Voyage.
Going to be a little bit late on this one, but an equalizer forces BLG away. Herald down to 1,000. This could be another 50-50 smite already in the game. In goes Angel onto everyone. All five of them there. There's a four-man face breaker, and Suning just collapsed on top of everyone. BLG blown apart to start this game off, and Aiming doing his damnedest, but it's just not good enough. Suning 5-1.
And SofM even managed to smite the Rift Herald in the middle of all that. So they get the Rift Herald, they get the fight, and it's so much gold going the way of SofM. This Rumble is going to be huge in these fights. What a setup from SofM to find the early win for Suning.
And Angel as well with that four-man phase breaker to start it all off. Let's take another look. His great equalizer, but then Angel just showstoppering it.
Yeah, I mean, look, ppgod kind of gives it to him there, walking too far forward, straight into the middle of everyone. Now, BLG do separate a little, but Aiming doesn't really have damage right now. You're all getting collapsed on by all angles. Zeka not really in a position to get more damage off because of how close quarters that fight is. And from that point on, BLG are just out of sorts as Suning run them over.
And Huanfeng is just like in heaven. There are so many souls laying around on the floor. At that point, you actually panic as a center player, and you're like, which soul's going to time out first? I've got to try and time it strategically. It's like when a massive wave with weird HP minions crashes under a tower, and you're not sure which ones to go for. Same deal, just souls. wet dream of any Senna player, I will say. Fantastic fight here from Suning. 2k gold lead now in their favor. It's the opposite of what we saw in game number 1. And Suning, one thing we have seen is when they are the team with an advantage, they generally speaking do manage to win out the mid game. That's when they've been strongest.
Yeah, like the 15 to 25 minute mark is where Suning definitely are more comfortable playing the game. They know how to progress onto objectives. They're good at playing the map. So when they manage to get these early leads, it's very difficult to wrestle it back from them. And especially on a composition like this, right? Ooh, hang on, SofM.
Zeka's in trouble here and just going to get burnt through. I mean, there's nothing he can do. That's a lot of damage from SofM at this point. He's got 10 stacks on his Dark Seal. He's almost finished his Night Harvester as well. Or in fact, I don't think he's even going Night Harvester. I think he will go towards the Proto Belt potentially. Rocket Belt.
No, it's still be Night Harvester. He's okay. Yeah. They just build out of the same thing.
Okay. I just thought because he's playing the Conqueror, it's usually the Dark Harvest if you're going Night Harvester, right?
It's both, basically. You can kind of mix and match. We've seen, so Dark Harvest is definitely, you get a little bit more late game scaling, but you do have to interact with the lanes a lot more. The Conqueror just straight off the bat gives you a lot more damage. Like, you can see here, even with the exhaust, like, Zeka completely taken out of sorts. But, yeah, both are different options, just better late game scaling with the Dark Harvest, but you do have to have a little bit more interaction with lanes.
And also, it's SofM, so you never really know what he's going to bring to the table. Bin getting himself a kill there. There's not much to say on that one as the Hextech Ultimatum comes in and then an equalizer on top of it. There's very little counterplay available for BiuBiu. With a Herald in Bin's pocket, he was actually the one to pick that up. You'd expect maybe he could take all 5 plates on that top side because BiuBiu doesn't have TP. He's fine. There's a land. He's out of there. Second time this game that Zeka is pulled to safety by ppgod.
Yeah. Well, look, here's the play you were talking about, Munch. A bunch of gold being gifted over towards Bin. Won't quite be able to finish off the tower, but still, I mean, you're going to be very quickly accelerated towards that Divine Sunder. So you have Divine Sunder nearly completed for Bin. Same for Huanfeng. Strikebreaker soon coming through from Angel. And SofM is going to have a Night Harvester plus more when he actually looks towards this. So these dragons suddenly become really, really hard for BLG to try and contest because you're waiting on this Jinx to actually get towards 2 to 3 items before she's relevant, whereas Suning are already hitting that spot.
Man, I wish I could just see Bin's inventory right now in terms of like how much gold he had in his pocket for that recall, because he just got 5 plates plus the kill onto BiuBiu. He was incredibly rich as he went for that recall. He's almost 2,000 gold up individually in that top lane.
Yeah, the only person beating him right now is actually SofM in this game. He's got 100 gold more, which is kind of insane for the Rumble, but like, as you're saying, like, look at the difference between Rumble, Camille versus the Gnar, and also this Udyr. Like, you've so much gold situated on the top side of the map, including Angel as well, who's sitting about 600 gold up. So, overall, this top side of the map is going to completely belong towards Suning. We're going to get a bit of a look at the pro view here. Oh, nice prediction there on the hop. Doesn't quite get the stun, but the over chase here from BiuBiu just gives him the opportunity to go for the kill.
Yeah, and he's used the hop, so pretty much just burns down on the equalizer. Very nicely done by Bin, baits it beautifully. And SofM's there to sweep things up. So, nice one. 7-1 right now in favor of Suning. As it's feeling a little bit German, a little bit Brazilian in here. But Suning, right now, feeling real good to finish this series off. We've got a bit of cheese coming out from BLG's bot lane here, but Angel just walks past them. He's completely unaware of this one. SofM's on the bot side as well. This actually could be a Suning play. This is the next episode of When Cheese Fails. The equalizer comes in. ppgod goes down. And WeiWei sprints off with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, we're going to give Nova War and Maximus Black a quick call there just to try and point out what went wrong here. But
them were the days,
SofM,
them were the days.
They were, but SofM ticking. Oh my God, even gets away with it. It's a disaster. It's 9-1, Munch. It's just mean at this stage.
Yeah, this is not looking great for BLG. I think game 1 might have broken them because this isn't even just one lane who's falling behind. This is the kind of solo queue game where you're playing as your ppgod, right? You've got 1 kill. You're like, hey, I'm feeling all right. You press tab and you realize there is literally no advantage for you across the entire map. Nobody has an advantage. The only advantage you've got is that Jinx is managing to outfarm a Senna that's not farming. That's all you've got on your side right now.
And I think you put it very aptly the other day, Munch, that farm leads are never really something that's going to win you the game. It's plays like this where you get multiple kills that ends up winning you the game. So, yeah, Suning definitely in a position now. 7k up. They've got that second Rift Herald coming through. Top lane already gone. Mid lane gone. They can take a tier 2 with this, as the rest of the team are all collapsing on towards this bottom lane. Keep being safe for a little bit, but they'll have so much pressure here. Like, BLG commit 4 members, but that just gives a Rift Herald mid so much more value.
Yeah, we're going to see the bot lane tier 1 taken by BLG here, but 3 members strong with SofM over the wall with that Rift Herald that you're talking about. This could be a mid tier 2, but SofM actually might even go up towards the top side instead, because On and Huanfeng can just finish this one off themselves. Why Herald when you can just do it with auto attacks instead? Sett finishes that one off. Huanfeng feeling real good with the Divine Sunderer already in pocket. And now you can see SofM's moved up to the top side, takes the Krugs away with Angel pushing that wave. They could try and pressure, but it might be overextending. So I think they're just going to rinse to repeat that one a little bit later on, because SofM, he wanted to go get himself a Mage Eyes.
Yeah, I mean, why not at this stage? 10 stacks already there. You've still got Rift Herald. You're still totally fine. He's even got a stopwatch there for himself, but BLG not playing out the map right is giving so much control towards Suning, and I mean, where have I heard that one before?
Yeah, I'm getting told on the Chinese graphics that SofM is the OP player of the game, and yeah, you're not kidding, right? he's doing all right for himself. 5-0-4 so far. This Rumble is terrifying. And it looks like Dagda, this one should just be crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And I have to say, for Suning, like, I think everyone knows that I'm a little bit Suning biased, right? I'm a bit of a fan.
No,
BiuBiu is just getting burnt to a crisp here. The Herald gets the second charge off onto the tier 2. BLG are going to be able to defend that one. But yeah, like, look, from this series, the second game feeling real good for Suning, but the first game still does leave a lot of question marks for what this team can do, right?
Yeah.
The thing that has to come into question is the shot calling on this Suning team, because it does feel like often we get them overextending, often they're not really quite sure how to extend their leads, and when you dominate the laning phase like this, and when you just get, I mean, like, they got 5 kills in a Herald fight. This game is an anomaly. That is not something that you can reliably, predictably do, right? So we do still have questions for Suning moving forward, even if they win this game so dominantly.
yeah, I agree, but I would really appreciate it if, when we do have those discussions before the game, if you could stop blurting out just how much you love Suning and the copium and everything else that comes with it. Because for anyone who doesn't know, I'll have a chat with Munch before these games start, and every single time it'll be like, yeah, maybe we can do something like Suning's lost the roar, they're not really coming back into it. It's like, what are you talking about? They're amazing. They're like Simba at the end of the Lion King. They've just taken the throne. I'm like, no, Joe, can we just talk about how they actually look right now?
It's happening. They're coming back. I'm telling you, man. Look, we 9-1. What more do we need to say? We don't need to take actual analysis into account. We just go off of the results here, Dagda. And right now they're winning, and that's all I need. But like, in the grand scheme of things, they are looking good in terms of like middle of the table, right? In terms of the other teams in the middle of the table, I feel like Suning can have a good shot. But the problem is, it's not even necessarily about how good is Suning. It's about how good is the rest of the table right now. Because LPL is just bonkers at the minute. Like, OMG look amazing there in the middle of the table. LNG have stepped up huge and come to the top of the table. And every time one of these other teams like WE and LNG end up in the top of the table, that means the previous top table teams like JDG, like Top Esports, end up in the middle of the table. So then the middle of the table is absolutely mental as well. And we only have like 3 or 4 teams that you could consider to not really be contenders for playoffs at all.
Yeah, and it's kind of insane, like, right? As you said, OMG just beating RNG. Earlier today, LGD taking down JDG. Like, these are not the things you expect, as BiuBiu didn't really expect this one either, as he's gonna go down here.
This is not the first time that he's died to that combo, and he even smashes a cheeky little flash on the back of it, just as a bonus. And you know what? Bin went 0-3 and won the game in game number 1. So BiuBiu was like, well, I left the team, and then Bin did better than me for that split. And then it's against what I believe about top lane, but he went 0-3 and he seemed to win, so maybe I should try this. Now Zeka is in trouble, but he should be all right. Gets underneath the tower. Maybe I was wrong, because that Senna damage is kind of disgusting. Bin getting chased down by 3 members of BLG, but he dodges the hook. It's going to be stunned up anyway. The rocket comes through and aim and will finish that one off. But over towards the top side we have to look, because Suning, they might just take a tier 2 for that.
Yeah, I mean, they may not quite be able to get the tier 2 as the resets come in, but still, like, pressure galore on the top side of the map for Suning. Like, it's a nice pick, but it doesn't really change where we are in the grand scheme of things, especially since it's not going towards someone like Amy, right, who could potentially get to that spot where he can hard carry this game, but it's a long way off from that. Huanfeng as well can have some insane late game team fights too, so it's not like you've just got an automatic win button coming through from Amy in this game. And he's so far behind in comparison. I mean, Quincy's Rage Blade nearly completed for Huanfeng here as well. Like, it's a not even an uphill battle. It's like scaling Everest at this stage for BLG.
Oh, nice play by ppgod, actually. If we're gonna focus on something in this game, let's at least focus on the nice mechanics coming out from ppgod on his Thresh. We already know he's amazing at Thresh, right? That's kind of a given. That's been one of his best picks the entire time he's been in the LPL. Baron is available, and Suning, with the amount of sustain that they have with a 9,000 gold lead, you feel like they should be able to just threaten this one. But that's what we were saying for a lot of the game in game number 1. And they didn't do so hot on actually pressuring the Baron. So let's see if they learn from that mistake. Let's see if they can do a little bit more in that regard here in game 2.
Yeah. Also, don't forget we are on Magi Watch here over the LPL. 14 stacks currently in the Rumble back pocket for SofM, so definitely this guy going to be dealing a heap of damage. So if you try and aggress on towards these Barons, it's going to be kind of hard. Like, you're walking through your own jungle, so a lot of these corridors where the Rumble ult is going to get a lot of value. You even have Bin who can lock up people. Huanfeng going to be hitting onto several people with the Q if he doesn't die.
Hang on, this is a pick. Huanfeng flashes away. SofM's on the way. The equalizer is onto everyone here. Will be a pick for BLG. But Angel now onto everybody as well. Showstopper back out of the play. BiuBiu's low and taken down. It's 1 for 1. And now suddenly Suning are the ones on the chase. Slow comes in. SofM still has that stopwatch. Remember, he's silenced. Will turn golden. Double kill for Ben as he looks for a little bit more. Turns it into a triple kill. Zeka is prime for the taking as he takes a quadra. And Scumbag on takes the pentakill.
How dare you on? Alright, you know what? That's 2 of the biggest ints I've seen in the LPL coming through from on. 1 was the Thresh play. 2 now being not given the penta over towards Bin. God, he was right there, man. That's just unfair.
You know, On's just there like, look, mate. You're the only player in history to get a pentakill in Worlds Finals. I think you'll be okay. You're all right for pentakills, Sonny Jim. I'm taking this kill. I'm the Tahm Kench. I'm the king of the river.
Yeah, well, Han and Huanfeng just going a bit over aggressive here, get cut out. Like, everyone from BLG shows out of the woodwork, but you can see here just how much damage is actually in the rest of the squad, because you get Angel managing to set up the play onto BiuBiu here, and as soon as Bin arrives, it's game over. Like, between SofM and Bin, there's so much damage. And again, we're going to see, like, Bin actually plays this fight incredibly well, right? Gets the insta-kill on towards Thresh, straight in towards the ultimate because he knows he's finished off with Thresh. Gets the kill onto Zeka. Okay, well, to be fair, actually, I take it back. On, that wasn't really your fault. He'd already devoured the Udyr beforehand, so the damage was coming whether Bin wanted to or not.
Well, I still blame him, but, you know, I'm vindictive. I will say as well,
You're the AD carry main, I'm the support main. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Although I have been playing a little bit of mid lane myself recently. Ziggs is back in style.
You've been attempting mid lane. I'll give you that.
All right, let's not go down this rabbit hole. I don't want to roast you in front of all of these lovely people. It's not safe for work, that kind of content. We'll do a roast video at some point later down the line. What I was gonna say was, you know that the players know how this game is going because Zeka literally committed suicide to finish off SofM in that fight. That's personal because he was getting he's on 14 stacks. He lost 10 of those stacks in that last fight. Like, you know that Zeka is just taking out a bit of aggravation in that fight onto SofM.
Well, that's the thing, right? There's a little bit of like disrespect that comes when you get a 25 stack major in a game, right? As maybe we actually get to that point.
the equalizers again. I can't wait to see SofM's
Angel.
damage stats at the end of this one. Angel flashes over the wall. Aiming is annihilated. And now Suning, who cares if we don't have a minion wave? We'll just wander into the base anyway. BiuBiu gets chased down. The 19th time this game has been caught up in the ultimatum. Angel dodges the hook, pulls WeiWei in. It's just too clean as they get onto the Nexus here. They can't even push yet. They don't even have the minions. They don't even have an inhib taken.
They don't even have an inhibitor.
But they can move back
down.
to the mid lane.
Now they can take the inhibitor towers. Now they can take the inhibitor and yeah. I mean, BLG, you can see the marathon TP that came in from Suning, and they still managed to make this play work because now they batter down on these turrets.
Oh my Jesus. The damage out from Finn is insane. SofM trying to get out with his life, dodges the zap, will be okay on this one, and manages to maintain just the singular death across the game as they get some bonus kills onto the fountain as well. This is going to be game as Suning round the series out 2-0 after a dicey game one. They dominate the second.
Far more convincing game two from Suning, having full control from the get-go. We saw those early plays going up towards that top side, and it was exactly what you wanted to see. SofM monstrous on this rumble and able to carry the game alongside Bin.
Really exceptional, and getting to see Suning playing around the top side again. Why don't we get this more often? It looks so good when Suning play around the top side. Like, let Bin be the carry that we know he can be. Beautiful stuff to see from them in game number 2. And when things like Ezreal, things like Senna, things like Jinx are meta anyway, it just makes sense to play your safer lane as your bot lane.
Yeah, and as well, I mean, just having strong skirmishers on that top side is something that Suning like to do. They love going for these Rift Herald fights, so why not have a strong composition that can actually let you go for that? Like, this is where they seem to be far more comfortable. It's like Angel being able to set up plays for them, having SofM on something where it can actually start to carry a little bit, and Bin as well having something that can actually set up the fights really well for them, but providing a lot of pressure inside lane. So I think compositionally, it just suited Suning down to the ground. And then you saw the results, right? They just pop off. They take that fight up at the first Rift Herald. And from then, like 5-1, this just snowballed out of control. God.
SofM nearly doubling anyone else's damage in the game. It's only Aiming and Zeka that could really contest that one. That is mental damage out on the Rumble. And every single equalizer, it was hitting 5 members.
Yeah, he's got to be at like 40% of the team's damage. Like, that is an insane number right there. And you can see it nearly looks like we've taken WeiWei's damage and just added it to SofM's, because WeiWei not exactly having a huge amount of impact on the damage per minute scale.
I'm just doing a bit of quick maths. If you add the rest of Suning together versus SofM, they are only like 5,000 or 6,000 ahead of SofM's damage. All 4 of the other Suning members combined in that game. That is, like, anyone at home that plays jungle and wants to know how to carry on Rumble, just go back and watch that VOD. That's how you carry on Rumble right there. You just get 4 kills in an early Herald fight, buy a Medjai's, and equalizer everyone every single fight.
Or slash Korean advice. Yeah, or slash Korean advice. Just get 4 kills at the start of the game.
Or slash Vietnamese advice, my good sir. Let's take a look at our MVP, who is obviously SofM off the back of that.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises here. And look, I was hoping we'd get the damage, the damage percent, but it doesn't matter. We all know it's ludicrous. We all know it's insane. Yep. The entire game, SofM was popping off. Those equalizers were like just burning through health bars at the end of that game as well. I'm sad we didn't get the full stack Medjai's, but still phenomenal performance from SofM.
Yeah, I'm going to be refreshing the stats pages to see what the damage percent number was in that game, because that one was unbelievable. We're going to go into a break, and then we'll move into our match of the week, Dagda. We got a banger coming up. It's RNG against LNG. You do not want to miss.